with regard to the likes of these individuals, because it's true, and it does highlight an issue, that they use this as a smokescreen. You didn't advise them, and you just found an error, or you even, as they claim, you searched for errors. Wallahi, we didn't search for errors. And the issue of nasiha and advice, was it forthcoming, or did you just come out in 2008 and refute them? Myself, Abu Hakeem, some of the other brothers, Abu Talha, Dawood, Burbank, that we have known Abu Usamah al-Dhahabi, myself, I can speak for myself, approximately, I'd say 1994 or 95. Personally met him, knew him, know him well, used to phone him, he used to phone me. We know each other. He knows me, I know him. And when he first arrived in Birmingham, I think it was 1995 or thereabouts, that this individual, we welcomed him, because he graduated from the Islamic University of Medina. And immediately, I'd say approximately within a year or 2 years, that he started working for Ihya Turath al-Islami, 1996. We organized a big conference in Birmingham in 1996, to which Sheikh Abdul Salam Burgess, Sheikh Muhammad al-Anjari, Abdul Salam Burgess rahimahullah came, Sheikh Muhammad bin Hadi came, Sheikh Muhammad al-Anjari came, 1996. And Abu Usamah, we welcomed him, and he gave a lecture there. Or translated at the very least, he translated for Sheikh Muhammad al-Anjari, I think, on that occasion. From that time, Sheikh Muhammad al-Anjari has known him, 1996 or 1995, till this time, 13 years. Personally, I've known him maybe 13 or 14 years in the individual. 2008 now, 1995, 13 odd years. When he started working for Ihya Turath al-Islami, that we had already had a strong contact with the likes of Sheikh Muqbil, Sheikh Rabi', by way of our brother Abu Hakeem, who was always making mulazimah of Sheikh Rabi' and Sheikh Ubaid and those mashayikh. We already were clear on the issues of Ihya Turath al-Islami and Abdul Rahman Abdul Khaliq. So it was shocking that this individual has just graduated from Medina, and he has gone straight into the arms of Ihya Turath al-Islami. And Sheikh Muqbil at that time had already made tabdi' and declared as an innovator its head, Abdul Rahman Abdul Khaliq, and also spoken against another, because there was an internal battle within Ihya Turath, and Sheikh Muqbil had already spoken against Abdullah Sabt also, both of them. So 1996 and 1997, that he was being advised. 1997 I performed Hajj. I made Hajj with the Hamla of Sheikh Falah Ismail al-Mundikar. That year I made Hajj with the Hamla, or with the group, the Hajj group of Sheikh Falah bin Ismail al-Mundikar, and the present at that group was Sheikh Abdulaziz bin Baz. He visited, Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan visited, and some of the other mashayikh, they visited, Sheikh Rabi' and others, that they visited the group of Sheikh Falah Ismail. And in the same year, Abu Usamah al-Dhahabi came and made Hajj alongside Ihya Turath al-Islami. They already had a Hajj group, and they organized one from the UK, and Abu Usamah was in the UK at the time working for Ihya Turath. He made Hajj alongside them. So we were with Sheikh Falah, and I didn't really meet him up until Sheikh Anjari came, and he said, "Where's this, what's his name? I said, "Yes, Sheikh, the one who translated this Amriki." I said, "Abu Usamah." He said, "Yes, this Abu Usamah." He said, "How is it?" I said, "Yes, Sheikh, he's with Ihya Turath, and he hasn't left them from the time that you left England, he hasn't left them." He said, "Yallah, where is he?" I said, "Yes, Sheikh, he's at Hajj." He said, "Who with?" He said, "Ihya Turath." He said, "Ihya Turath, he made Hajj with them?" I said, "Yes, Sheikh." And some of the heads of Ihya Turath, or some of the speakers of Ihya Turath were there. Sheikh al-Anjari said, "Let's go and visit him." But Sheikh al-Anjari said, "Wallahi, I will not enter their group." They had a building, a hotel or some apartment building. And he said, "I will not enter their building. Do you know anyone in there?" I said, "There's a brother from Birmingham who's made Hajj along, with them." He said, "Tell him that that Muhammad al-Anjari wants to speak to Abu Usamah." So Abu Usamah, he was called out, and Sheikh al-Anjari, his demeanor and his relationship, or his dealing with Abu Usamah on that occasion, wallahi ya ikhwan, it was like a father who had met his son again. He treated him with honor and respect, because he didn't want to slam him and knock him out and, what are you doing with those people? He didn't deal with him like that. He embraced him, and then he walked with him, and I was there with them, and Sheikh Muhammad al-Anjari was advising him, and Sheikh al-Anjari said to him, he said, "Abu Usamah, what is your problem with the brothers who advise you? What's your problem with them?" He said, "Ya Sheikh, those brothers in Great Britain, ya Sheikh, they have no sophistication." He has this word, he keeps using it. He keeps, even now to this day, he has this word, sophistication. Anyone that he doesn't like, they're not sophisticated. He's sophisticated, no one else is sophisticated. He said they have no sophistication. What he means is that they don't like the fact that he works with Ihya Turath. Ya Sheikh, they have no sophistication in the dawah. Meaning that he has sophistication. So Sheikh al-Anjari, he knew what he was talking about. What you mean is sophistication. They don't accept that you are working with Ihya Turath, so they are not sophisticated. And you are sophisticated. So Shaykh al-Anjari listened to him. And Shaykh al-Anjari advised him, and he told him about Ihya Turath and so on and so forth. And I was present at that time. And then I thought, khalas, let them speak alone, and I walked away. I walked away and I let them speak alone. Afterwards, I asked Shaykh al-Anjari, said, khalas, I advised him. What more can I do? I advised him. 1997. Then in 1998, we still kept that alaqa with him. Why? Because this accusation, musta'ajilin, that you are quick and hasty to throw people out and throw people away. He has the audacity to make that accusation against me and against my brother Abu Hakeem and against the Maktab al-Salafiyah. He is the last person upon the earth who should be making accusations like that against us. That we didn't advise him and we didn't speak to him. On an occasion, I remember Yawmul Jum'ah. In 1998, he was in Birmingham. Again, still with Ihya Turath. Still with Ihya Turath. By that time, he had already spread this notion among some of the brothers in Birmingham and in London. He said, you want to make the dawah sophisticated in the United Kingdom? You should invite Siraj Wahaj. That will give the dawah sophistication. We can't isolate ourselves off. That man, he's a speaker. He wants us to invite Siraj Wahaj. That's what he means, sophistication. What he means is tamyir. What he means is watering down of the manhaj. But anyway, we still kept with him, patient with him. 1998. I met him after Jum'ah and I said to Abu Talha, Abu Talha, let's invite him to your house. Abu Talha's, Dawood Burbank's house, it was close to the Masjid. So I said, if I bring him, we'll take him to your house, we'll sit him down, and we'll give him, we'll talk to him about general issues and, show him brotherhood, that we love him and so on, and keep him close, and then we'll advise him. He said, okay, bring him. So we took him to Abu Talha's house on Burlington Road in Small Heath in Birmingham. Sat in the front room, and we started talking general issues about the Sunnah, and mashallah, how's the dawah going, and so on, and whatever. We know that he works with Ihya Turath. He knows what we think of Ihya Turath, and he knows that we are with Shaykh Muqbil, Shaykh Rabi, Shaykh Ubaid, and the Mashaykh with Ihya Turath, and Abdul Rahman Abdul Khaliq, and Abdullah Sabt. So he's sitting there, and we started mentioning to him, Abu Usamah, Shaykh Muqbil, what he says about Abdul Rahman Abdul Khaliq, and the Hizbiyah of Abdul Rahman Abdul Khaliq, and the fitna that Ihya Turath caused wherever they go. They went to Yemen and they split the brothers. They bought off some of the students of Shaykh Muqbil. They split the Salafis in Yemen. They split the Salafis in Sudan. They split the Salafis in Egypt. You know what the Mashaykh say, Abu Usamah. You know what they say. And wallahi, there's nothing between us except muhabba and love. We just thought we'd highlight maybe. He said, no, I heard all of this stuff. And then he said, wallahi, Shaykh Muqbil. He said, wallahi, I love him. Hafidhahullah ta'ala. Started praising him. And he said, but Shaykh Muqbil, wallahi, what he says about the rulers of Saudi Arabia. Is what he said. We're coming through the back door, he's going out we're coming in through the front door, he's leaving through the back door. We're trying to be straight with him. Now he wants to mention some of the errors of Shaykh. Shaykh Muqbil, what he thinks about the kingdom of Saudi Arabia and how they treated him and so on and so forth. Mashaykh, sometimes they can be right and sometimes they can be wrong. Using that as an excuse for not accepting the nasiha against Ihya Turath al-Islami. So he said, mashallah, he goes, wallahi, we love him and they make their ijtihad. But Mashaykh, they say things. And not everything that they say can be taken. This was the issue. And he speaks against Saudi. But the irony of it, that was in 1998, that he knows that Shaykh Muqbil speaks against Ihya Turath al-Islami. That Shaykh Muqbil speaks against or said some words regarding the government of Saudi Arabia. And he recognized that to be an error. If you, Abu Usamah, recognize that to be an error, then how did you go to the mimbar in 2002 speak against Saudi Arabia? 4 years later. That you criticize Shaykh Muqbil, or that you mention this error, even if you don't want to call it criticism, you mention this error of Shaykh Muqbil, and 4 years later, you recognizing that error, go to the mimbar in the United States of America, and attack the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, that they are hand in hand with the shaitan, and they are the supporters of the devil, and they've thrown the book and the sunnah behind their back. That's the irony of the situation. That this individual here, ya ikhwan, he cannot claim by any sense of the word that he was not advised. Me and Abu Talha sat with him in the house of Abu Talha, brought the tea, brought the biscuits. Anyone goes to visit Abu Talha, this is his usloob. Bring the tea, biscuits, bring the orange juice, then bring more tea and more biscuits and more orange juice and more. Sat with him, advising him, and this is his answer. So we patiently with him again. We didn't cut off from him. Met him again. He used to visit again. I advised him, I remember he came to my house on an occasion when he visited Birmingham. And I said, Abu Muslima, why is it that only Abu Uwais rahimahullah is the only one who stood up against Abu Muslima from you people? Abu Uwais stood up like a rajul, like a man, saw the deviation. Abu Muslima wasn't taking the advice. Abu Muslima accusing the scholars of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia being Hanabila and Muqallidun and whatever else he accused them of, speaking against Sheikh Rabi and the Mashayikh. How come you don't support him? I advise you, support them. Speak against this individual. If you don't speak, who's going to speak? You were with him in the Masjid in East Orange. You were with him. You know him. A few weeks later or a while later, he mentions that the most knowledgeable man in America is Abu Muslima. Words praising. Instead of refuting him, he starts praising him. Even though in front of me, he agreed that Abu Muslima is a person who has errors and deviations. Nasiha, ya ikhwan, this is one man who cannot claim that he was not given nasiha. From the Mashayikh, from Shaykh al-Anjari, and even now, in this recent response that he gave to Maktaba Salafiyya, making tabdi' upon Maktaba Salafiyya, that they are Haddadiyya, and this is a jihad that we are performing against the people of deviation and so on. Okay. He says, they don't advise me. I'm willing to sit with them. Sheikh Falah is in Birmingham. And Sheikh Falah, I respect him. He's a sheikh. He's not an alim, but he's a sheikh. He's a talibul ilm, and so on and so forth. Okay, Sheikh Falah with us is an alim. A man of 60 years. A man who has spent the last 40 of those, or maybe even more than that, maybe 45 of those years, sitting with Ahlul Ilm. And the kibar of them, the likes of Muhammad bin Shanqiti, the likes of other than them, the likes of Bin Baz. So he says, I recognize him to be a sheikh and a person of knowledge and so on. And and I want to sit with him. And my response to that is, why is it that first and foremost, that you didn't sit? Sheikh al-Anjari was also in Birmingham. Why do you want to sit with Anjari? Muhammad al-Anjari? When you know that Sheikh Muhammad al-Anjari has known you from 1995, Sheikh Falah would not recognize you in a crowd of 5 people, never mind a crowd of hundreds of people. You want to go and sit with Sheikh Falah because you think that you can deceive him? Sheikh Falah will not be deceived. Anyway, we have no issue with that. Sheikh Falah will not be deceived. Sheikh Falah is an alim of the manhaj and the usul and the aqidah. He knows about Jam'iyyah hiya turaf, and he was the first of those individuals who exposed them. But now he wants to leave out Sheikh Muhammad al-Anjari. Now he wants to say, I'm willing to sit with Sheikh Falah. Why do you mention that I want to sit with Sheikh Falah and I want to sit with Sheikh Muhammad al-Anjari? Because you know that the man who has known you for the last 13 years will expose you for what you are. But you think that if I isolate off Sheikh Falah, that maybe I'll be able to deceive him and put the wool over his eyes and cloud the situation, even though you will not be able to do that with Sheikh Falah, bi-idhnillah, because Sheikh Falah is fully aware of the tricks of these types of individuals. But this individual now claiming no one has advised me, Yasir Qadi claiming that no one has advised him. This is the mantra of these individuals and the chant of these individuals. Anytime no one advised me, okay, let's assume we are the zalimun. You are the one who is madloom because you weren't advised. So where's your tawbah? Where's your freedom and freeing yourself from ihya turaf? Rather, till this day, over a month, less than a month ago, 2 months ago, he's translating for the speakers of Ihya Turaf al-Islami. Still, worked with them for several years, paid on the payroll of Ihya Turaf. And now under a payroll of another organization that Sheikh Muqbil refuted, Jam'iyyah al-Hadith in Birmingham. A Jam'iyyah refuted by Sheikh Rabi'. A Jam'iyyah refuted by Sheikh Ubaid. A Jam'iyyah refuted by Muhammad bin Hadi. With evidences. No, we don't make taqleed, ya ikhwan. Because we are intelligent enough to recognize the evidences and to establish the evidences. So where is now? You said, no one advised me. No, okay, let's assume that you weren't advised, even though this is kadhib, and this is a lie, and untruthfulness, and really an oppressive statement against his own brothers. But nevertheless, even if you assume for one moment, let us forget the fact that we spoke to you. You're telling me that you weren't advised? Okay, you weren't advised. So who has closed up the doors of tawbah to you? Who's closed it? Did we close the doors? Your soul is still in your body. Why don't you make tawbah? For what you said against Shaykh Rabi'. For your support of Abu al-Hasan al-Ma'rabi. Why do you make tawbah for that? Why do you make your tawbah for the insinuations that you made against Shaykh Ubaid al-Jabari? Why do you make tawbah for that which you mentioned about Ihya Turath and your defense of Suhaib Hassan. For your defense of Suhaib Hassan, who has been refuted, ya ikhwan, over and over and over again. And now he sits in Canada at this present moment, on these days, with who? With those individuals refuted. One of them refuted by Sheikh Ubaid al-Jabari, Bilal Phillips refuted by Sheikh Ubaid al-Jabari. And another individual, Abu Muslima, refuted by Abdullah al-Bukhari. And Sheikh Rabi bin Hadi. And some of the other Mashaykh of Medina. Again, you're hand in hand with them. What nasiha do you want? You don't take the nasiha of Sheikh Rabi'. You don't take the nasiha of Ahlul Ilm. You lie or you claim that you never received any nasiha from your brothers who are your peers. And now you sit there claiming no one ever advised me. And then you persist, okay, even if no one advised you. Okay, let's be blind to the fact we're blind. No one ever advised you. So where's your tawbah then? Where's your tawbah for Sheikh Rabi'? Where's your tawbah for what you said about Sheikh Ubaid? Where's your tawbah for your defense of Abu al-Hasan al-Ma'rabi? Where's your tawbah for all of these affairs? Where's your freedom and freeing yourself from Ihya Turath? Where's your freedom for defense of Suhaib Hassan? Where's your freedom for sitting next to those individuals? Yasir Qadi, conferences with Yasir Qadi and Tawfiq Chowdhury and Bilal Phillips. Where's your freedom from that? All of your energy and your hatred and your enmity is reserved for us. That you defend and you speak good. Zakir Naik, second to none. Unparalleled in his da'wah. No words against him. But we are Haddadiyya, Mubtadi'ah, outside. And then you accuse us of making tabdi upon you. And in every lecture that I've delivered, and I've only delivered 2 lectures with regard to him. And those lectures weren't exclusively for him. I'm talking about something else. And I've just mentioned him. And I've said about him that I do not say that he is a Mubtadi'. Said it clearly. What does he say? Some of the first lines that he uses, oh, they accuse me of being an innovator. You're refuting us with a lie? When did I say that you're a Mubtadi'? I said rather the opposite, because I knew their accusations. The first time when I advised him in public, I said that Abu Usamah, I don't say that he's a Mubtadi'. That is not for me to say. But I will say that his speech is a speech that is misguided. That involves attacks upon Ahlul Ilm. So yeah, ikhwan, this is what we say about this affair, so that no one can claim about us that we dealt with him unjustly, or without adl, or without justice, or without nasiha. For 13 years I've known the man. Is he going to tell me now that we never advised him? Abu Hakeem never advised him, the brothers never advised him, the Mashaykh never advised him? Not correct, ya ikhwan, and unjust.
As far as ikhwan, that which is related to the sitting that I had with him on an occasion, just to make you understand, when he said in this recent lecture that, here I am, misguided. And I'm saying to you, and I'm stretching my hand out to you, saying, guide me. I need your guidance, so guide me, he mentions. When I advised him, ikhwan, concerning the mas'ala of Ihya Turath, and we sat in that room on that occasion in the hotel, he responded to me by saying, ikhwan, Ya akhi, Abu Hakeem, you believe I'm letting Ihya Turath take me from here? You think I'm letting him take me from here? Yeah, and he pointed to his rear. And this is, ikhwan, me sitting there. It was always some type of joke. This is me sitting there in order to advise a man with some sincere, and serious advice. He said, you think I'm looking here to take me from here? There and after, ikhwan, we had some discourse by email. And it was as though there was some aggression in some of the emails. To the extent I had to remind him, listen, none of us are strangers to the rude boy business. Don't go there with me. We're not strangers to that, but come on, akhi. We've left all that stuff there. And in the lecture, in the masjid, it sounds good. But in this type of, and dealing with him on this type of level, we find a different side comes out, ikhwan. And that those sides are sides that people don't really realize. All they hear is that which I see on Islam channel, or that which I hear on the internet. and on the Power Talk rooms and so on. But we have had a history, ikhwan, of giving advice and of speaking and of receiving nothing, ikhwan, but enmity, nothing but hatred, nothing but animosity, and nothing but rejection. And then in this clarification we hear, I'm saying to you, take me by the hand. So ikhwan, we don't want to linger on with the issue, with the topic. We've gone on long enough as it is. But just to let the brothers understand, ikhwan, the affairs are not as they seem, are not always as they seem. And oftentimes, when we hear these issues, it is a must. And we mentioned the affair of tathabbut. Just as in his lecture he said, and I heard that Bilal Davis said him a takfiri. Wallah, I've never said him as a takfiri. I know exactly what he's referring to. On an occasion, some brothers approached me, and in speaking, they asked me about him and some of the issues that we have against him. And I mentioned the lecture or the sermon that he gave when he spoke against the rulers of Saudi Arabia and of the Gulf states. And I said, if you were to listen to the lecture and you didn't know it was Abu Usamah, then you would say, subhanallah, that's the speech of a takfiri. I said, if you didn't know it was Abu Usamah, you would say, ajib, that whoever that is a takfiri. So this man turned it into, I said it's takfiri. You know, this type of li'ib and this type of games, ikhwan, the important things that the Salafis are aware, the important things that the Salafis are not taking in, ikhwan, and are not naive to the games and the li'ib that are played by these people. Inshallah, ikhwan, we round the session up right there. We have a flight to catch early in the morning, and we thank the brothers. And again, ikhwan, we apologize to the brothers for going on. But the issue requires something from clarity, requires something from bayan. And we hope that the brothers who have attended, ikhwan, have benefited somewhat, ikhwan, and been enlightened in regards to some issues, or at least reminded of that which is related to this illustrious manhaj, the methodology of Ahlul Sunnah, that manhaj as-Salafi, al-Asil, the true manhaj as-Salafi, ikhwan, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us to be upon, that Allah Azza wa Jal has given us this tawfiq to be upon, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us the thabat and the sabr to remain upon it hatta al-mamat, and until we pass away. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى يوفقنا وإياكم لما يحبه ويرضاه وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد.